out of the old hairpin.
Oh no!
JC's going to send it? You bet he is. Oh, look at the Aston, just with the nice little battle here. Very huge speed through the crater curve.
Aston runs wide and he's in the grass.
Oh, there's a bit of contact.
Oh, almost side by side from there. Hello and welcome everyone. This is RaceOnOz. This is the Sunday Night League. It's Season 1, Round 2. We're in Kyalami. My name is Nick. I'm joined by Jamie this evening to bring you all the proceedings. Jamie, my man, how are you going tonight?
Evening, Nick. Hello, everyone. I'm going well, thank you, and looking forward to calling a race on the new and, I guess, improved night of Sunday.
Yeah, nice way to finish the weekend. A bit of Camaro fun. Tonight we're going to be going around Kyalami, so should be good times. We had race 1 last week, so we're back for round 2. Let's have a look how it all played out. So it was that man again, Cameron Footner. Looks like he was the race winner last week. I'm not going to lie, I didn't manage to catch it last week. I've been playing a lot of farming simulators, so that's sort of where my attention was. But Footner's leading the championship on 30 points. JJ Penguin there in P2 on 48 points. 52 to 48. Riggsy. Sorry, he's got his fan club in the chat already as well. So he's there on 43 points. Stu in fourth position on 43. Angry Old Fella's in there. Bounty. Team Little Bear, only a point the difference between those three. Adman's in there. I don't know if he's racing tonight. Gaz, Christoph, Osh Wizard, Mr. N. Wilson. I don't know how to pronounce that last one. Sixmon, maybe. And JCRTR. This championship standings at the moment. Jamie, you caught the second race, I believe, last week of round 1.
I did, and Cameron Footner, as shown in the tables with 2 victories in those 2 races, definitely had the measure of the field, but there was some great battling just behind him. Riggsy, JJ, Stu, and a few others were involved in a tight battle for the podium positions in race 2, and I mentioned Team Little Bear, who was holding his own amongst the pack for both races, from what I can see, so superb effort from him. And yeah, a shout out to Adman, who can't make tonight's race. He's got a bit of an injury, so hope you're resting up, mate, and doing well.
Yeah, best wishes to Adman. Hope he gets better soon. All right, so we last week. Which circuit were we at last week, Jamie? I can't remember which track it was.
Hungary last week.
Hungary, Budapest. That's it. Budapest, very tight and twisty and turn circuit. Now we're at Kyalami, so a lot different. Let's have a look at the track. So 16 turns, 4.52 kilometers. Budapest, very difficult to overtake, but Kyalami a little bit easier. It's got some fun corner names around here. Usually makes for pretty good racing. What are your thoughts from a driver's perspective, Jamie?
Yeah, it does produce great racing. We've got some nice long straight-ish parts that lead into slower corners, so that'll set it up nicely, particularly in these GT4 cars and the Camaros. They have, a lot of grunt, but not as much downforce and cornering stability and ability, so there's options for guys to have a good dive up the insides of corners, and you might see a bit of rubbins racing as well. The cars can handle a little bit of that, but when it goes wrong, it's not only bad for the drivers, it can look slightly hilarious.
Yeah. Well, they're 6.2 litre V8s as well. I guess this is probably, in terms of console, this is probably the closest you get to, say, a V8 supercar, I'd say. That's, would that be a fair assessment? You think they probably weigh as much, 1,400 kilos, these things? They're pretty heavy.
I'd say so. Still a different driving style required, but it definitely would have a lot of similarities in feelings, and when you have tracks that you can compare it to, like over Bathurst, for example, and as you're going over the top, you can definitely feel it operate in a similar way to what you might see a V8 car when you're watching it in the broadcast.
Okay, alright, well, we're not too far away from that. We're currently in the final minute of practice, which I might just take us to now. There we go. So you can see there, Zero, the fastest time of 1:51.5. So good enough for P1 right now. Only 30 odd seconds left in practice. Pretty good turnout tonight as well. 15 cars on track. I think that's a pretty decent turnout for a Sunday night. A good way to finish the weekend, especially if you're, your favourite sporting team or you've had a good weekend. A little bit of racing on the RaceOnOz network is a good way to just cap it off nicely as we complete just the final seconds and give you a bit of an idea of the pace. They did have a practice race earlier this evening, which I looked at, watched. I think there's about 7 or 8 of them. Good racing around here, and these cars I think are going to be pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, good turnout. We're operating across 2 servers this Sunday night for this new Camaro Cup League. It's kind of born about because the Project Cars 2 League has shut down. They've stopped using that platform, and most of the guys have migrated over to ACC, and we've got a combination of those guys and rusted on ACC veterans, so a bit of a mix. But I can see some of the names there who I'm pretty sure have come from Project Cars 2, such as Azuro. So he's on top here in practice, whereas some of the ACC veterans, might be a bit under the pump here.
Well, I spoke to JJ about it. He let me know, and I wasn't doing any streaming. He said, you should come and join in and have a crack. And I quickly tuned in very briefly last week, but then I saw the caliber of the names in there. I thought, I might give it a miss. Actually, I don't want to embarrass myself. So here we go. Looks like we're going to be the first driver out and away. So the way that it's going to run is going to be a 10-minute qualifying session, which we're beginning right now, and then the race 1 will be 15 minutes, and after race 1 it'll be a 5-minute practice with another 10-minute qualifying session, and then the second race is going to be a 30-minute race, no pit stops for either of the races. So that's how the format is going to look this evening, and yeah, should make for some fun. That sprint race I think is going to be very interesting. I saw some other platforms, ACC leagues running around Kyalami this week as well, and using a sprint format. And there was action aplenty, so I would be expecting the same this evening as all cars bar one. Natman Scoot is still in the pits, but the rest of the field are all headed off. One of them is Riggsy, so he's got his little cheer squad in the chat tonight.
When we had the Camaro Cup last year, I think at some point when we were running a Thursday night fun series, Riggsy and I had an amazing battle at Bathurst, just over the top, within inches of each other, trading positions and a bit of paint here and there, but always keeping it straight. It's one of my best ruse memories, that.
Yeah, I think it's the competition, isn't it? Oh, there's that is... I think that's Rain of Fire by the looks of things. Yeah, he's gone back into the pits, so just a little mistake from him. Yeah, but it's those battles that you remember more than anything, isn't it? Not necessarily the wins and the podiums, but the cracking battles that we have over the journey. And Footner is going to be the first driver. We'll be trying to put in a timed lap. Track invalidation is not really much of an issue around here. Maybe Jamie, do you want to take us for a lap around Kyalami with Footner?
Yeah, so he's just going into turn 2 because turn 1 here is a bit of a nothing corner. We're coming through the sweep and up to Barbecue, which is a really difficult corner to navigate. You're kind of going the opposite way but needing to swing it in. Footner seems to have done that quite well. Now we come up to Sunset, which is this long sweeping right-hand corner. Interested to see how the Camaros go through here. I'm going to follow on board a little bit later on a couple of the drivers just to see how much grip that they have. So now he's come around Clubhouse and coming up to the S's, which is another crucial part of the track. Different ways you can come around here. Getting that curb on the entry there is critical to get the car over to the left as much as possible. Set you up for these two right-hand corners. This little kink here, just up the hill. Now we're into Lucop. Bit of a hairpin there and going down the hill. Just at the bottom of the hill here, there's a bit of an imaginary bump, particularly in the GT3 cars. You can kind of see the car bouncing up and down there. And then a big stop moment. There's the Crocodiles, another one of those classic names for a corner. This is where the track limits can be a factor, just there. Looks like he's kept it on board. And then everyone's favourite turn, Cheetah, with the inside sausage curb, which you want to avoid in any car. And the final corner's in way. Bit of a slow, awkward corner. You want to get on the power as early as possible, but so tempting to do it too early and go wide, and Footner's put a time on the board of a 1:51.3.
So nice competitive time there, very well called, Jamie, as well. So nice insight into a lap around Kyalami. Guys are making his way across the line. So car 17 Stu as well, he's charging through Osh Wizard, he's about to cross the line. So it's a short, sharp qualifying session. So not much time, only 10 minutes. Osh Wizard goes P6. He's angry old fella. Let's see what he has. He's the wily old veteran, good enough for P5 right now. So as it stands, Footner, Gaz, Mr. N. Wilson, JJ Penguin, and angry old fella. That's your top 5. And Stewart, Osh Wizard, Rigsy, Bounty, and Stozza. 1985, rounding out the top 10. And this here, this man here, Natman Scoot. He's going to be the second last driver to set a time. He's going to go for another one. Off he goes. So I'll do it all again. You probably get, if you're lucky, 3-time laps around here. As you see Cameron Footnow running a little bit wide through there. Here's Rigsy. He's currently P8. Yeah, it's a tricky turn, isn't it, Lucop? It's an uphill blind braking point in there as well, so it does make it a little bit difficult to spot the turning.
Plus the outside comes in on the corner, so you're trying to brake in a straight line and then very quickly run out of road.
Just for that extra level of difficulty. Let's see how Rigsy goes, but good to see Gazza up there. 555, he is out on the circuit. We'll pick him up shortly. Let's ride with Rigsy though until the end. Can he move himself up from P8? Hits the line. And he goes P3, so he'll be a little bit happier with that. Gaz doesn't improve on his time, but I don't think Cameron Footner would, because when we picked him up, he was very deep into the corner. Not conducive to a fast lap time. Osh Wizard goes into P4. What about angry old fella? He was in he is in P8 now. Can he improve on that time? Shortest run to the line? No, he doesn't. So he remains there in P8. So only 2 drivers yet to set a time. 3.5 minutes left. This man here on screen, that man Scoop, and Rain of Fire is the other driver that have yet to set a time. Just have a look where Rain of Fire is. Oh, there he is. He's just coming through into Barbecue now. So that man's Scoot. He's P14. I wonder how Cameron Footner is coming. Sorry, Jamie. I think I keep on just butting in just when you're about to talk.
No, that's all right. I was just on board with Footner, but he's invalidated his lap. He was up, but interestingly, I was following him on board through Sunset, and I just made mention of wondering how the cars might be faring through there, and just wanted to understeer too wide, and he couldn't get it back in track limit, so he's going to have to go again here.
We'll leave him to it. I do like that. That he's put that livery together as well, the green rims as well. This is Stewart. He's currently P2, so less than 2.5 minutes left in qualifying. He's enjoying himself by the looks of things.
That's one way to avoid the inside sausage curve there.
Mr. N. Wilson, we haven't seen him on screen. It's a very nicely turned out Camaro with the black, predominantly black, with the green rims. I'm liking it. He's P7. There we go, P4. So that performance matches the paint job there. This is Rain of Fire, so this will be his first attempt at a timed lap. And he submits his time good enough for P15 right now. So at the moment, it is this man on screen, Cameron Footner. He's in P1 with a 151.3. He's leading it from Stu in P2 and Gaza in P3. Then Mr. Wilson, Rain of Fires, P5. Azuro, Osh Wizard, Riggsy, JJ Penguin, and Angry Old Fella rounds out the top 10. He's in the pit, so he's probably done for the session with just a smidgen over 1 minute left. And
Footner's on his lap at the moment, but he's a little bit down, so he should get over the line for one more. The other guys have got about half a second to find on him.
Who else is out there? We'll ride with him till the end. A few cars starting to drop off now into the pits with less than a minute left. Navigate through Cheetah without any dramas. I dare say we'll see some action through there, especially in a 15-minute sprint race where everyone's just going to be going for it. And does he improve on his time? Doesn't look like it. No. What about Stu? Last time we saw him, he was four-wheel drifting. Not this time around though. Car number 17. A baby blue, bit of navy blue. In P2. No purple in there for him, so remains P2. Looks like Gaza is going to get another go at it. Who else is out there that I can see? 333. Osh Wizard. P8. No, he's done for the session as well. Natman Scoot. Let's have a look. I think really the only driver now that can challenge Footner is Stu. He's half a second behind, so it's a pretty decent gap to make up.
He's a few tenths up as well coming into sunset, so he's just lost it a bit under brakes.
That's it. So, unfortunate for Stu, but he's going to start in a great spot in P2. Great starting position from him. Here's a 0. I would assume one of the Project Car 2 refugees, if you like.
I believe so, and having a bit of a browse of previous Project Cars or recent Project Cars championships, it looks like he was quite quick in those leagues. So
we'll see how it transfers over to here. I'd say it'd be an easier transition coming from something like Project Cars to ACC rather than say from another platform like Gran Turismo, for example, where I think the Project Cars 2 was more of a simulation aimed game rather than what Gran Turismo is. So we'll see, hopefully he picks it up quick and can run with some of these other guys. As Riggsy, he's P8 right now and he finishes P5. So that's our qualifying all done, ladies and gentlemen. It is Cameron Footner on top of the times with a 151.330. Great time from him. JJ Penguin. Felt like we didn't even really see JJ. Stu up there as well. Gaz and Riggsy. That's your top 5 right there. What were your thoughts on the session there, Jamie?
yeah, it was very interesting that some of the times, or some of the drivers that we saw with top times in practice, weren't really able to put it together there. The top 5, top 6 are really the top 5, top 6 that I saw from last week. So JJ, Stu, Riggsy, Footner, Gaz, they're all in there. And I guess that's a bit of experience with ACC, perhaps, in being able to deliver when it's needed in qualifying. It is quite difficult GT4 or GT3 in ACC to just get everything right, get your tyres in the window, get the right track position, and it's a bit of a thinking game to get it and put it all together.
Yeah, and you've only got 10 minutes to do it as well, so it doesn't really, you don't really have a lot of time for mistakes either, and getting that clean run, and like you said, sort of thinking your way through it. Yeah, definitely not my strong suit, that's for sure. But we're not too far from getting this one started. So race 1 is going to be 15 minutes, and it'll just be from go to work, and then after race 1 will be practice session of 5 minutes. We'll do a qualifying at 10 minutes, and then our second race will be 30 minutes, no pit stops required. So we will have things underway very, very shortly. And yeah, we should grid up. We will be back in about a couple of minutes or so. We'll be back very, very shortly. All right, Jamie. Hang on.
Yep.
All right, so we are back. Maybe Jamie, I can hear my voice still in the background there. If you could turn that down, possibly, or mute it somehow, or
10 seconds.
Yeah. But we're moments away from getting on the warm-up lap here, and the grid will head off. Yeah, here we go. A little bit of helicopter cam action as they are now making their way off the grid. They'll do their warm-up lap. Tyres nice and warm. Try and get them up to pressure. Warm up those brakes. And so race 1 will be a 15-minute sprint race. So 15 minutes will be the duration of this race. And then for the second portion of the evening, we'll do a practice session of 5 minutes, qualifying at 10. And then the next race after this one will be 30 minutes, no pit stops required. So Rixie. Get some temperature into those brakes. Do you have a preferred method, Jamie? You like the weaving, or you like just accelerated brake pedal? How do you like to get prepared on the warm-up lap?
I think the riding on the brakes a little bit probably is the most effective, but a little bit of weaving just to break it up. It's probably much of a muchness really how you get the temperature in the tyres, or maybe someone more knowledgeable than me might know the science behind it, but you don't want to go too much as well and overdo it. Like I try not to take too much out of my tyres in the opening laps, and so anything even on the warm-up lap, you know, is just taking it out of the tyres. I'm just trying to conserve it as much as possible.
So it's that fine balance of not too much but not too little either at the same time.
Yeah, and we've seen multiple times, and I've probably been victim to it myself in maybe a couple of practice races where you just get a bit overzealous with the weaving and end up in the fence.
Alright, well, that would be very unusual to see if your caliber do that, but hopefully no one else does that this evening either, as we are making their way just up through, down through Mineshaft, turn 12. 16 turns in total around Kyalami. Means my home in Zulu. I think they're lobbying to have a Grand Prix there next year to get on the F1 calendar, which I think would be pretty exciting.
It would be great, and it's historical in that sense. They've been here before.
They have indeed, yep.
And yeah, there was a bit of noise about it recently, but it kind of died off in the recent weeks, so it might come back again.
I think that was because France was the track looking at getting the boot, and they didn't want to perhaps focus too much negative attention while they're there. They'll wait until after they've gone. And these guys will be going very, very shortly as they come around the final turn. See the lights are red. Once they turn green, we will go racing, and it's a green Camaro. There it is. We're underway. This is round 2, season 1, Sunday Night League. Looks like Cameron Footner got a good jump. JJ's going side by side with him. Stu will be involved in there, as will Gaz. They filter into turn 2, making their way through now. No, not too much bumping and grinding through there. Looks like everyone's made it through nice and safely. It's Cameron Footner leading from JJ Penguin, Stewart, Gaz, Riggsy. That's your top 5. JJ getting a little bit loose there out of barbecue. Just 2 wheels on the dirt. He's got Stu and Gaz right behind him. But so far it's been a good start from Cameron Footner.
Some good battles going on just slightly back as well. Angry Old Fella and Wilson were side by side there for a couple of corners. And yeah, JJ just got on the grass on the exit there and just kind of hooked him in, and he couldn't get off it.
Always a horrible feeling.
He's managed to hold on to the position though. Stu, wily veteran, probably knows better than to send it down too early into sunset in lap 1.
So they're going to go down through Mineshaft. You can hear those 6.2 litre V8 engines screaming as they make their way towards the crocodiles. Oh, who's that? Was that Osh Wizard? It was at the back there. So just seemed to lose the rear end. He's going to drop all the way down to the rear of the field. Not what you want in a 15-minute race.
He's had to let the whole field go by. So you can see at the front there, Cameron Footner just trying to break the toe a little bit from JJ. So JJ hasn't done too badly to recover there in sector 3.
Yeah, so it looks like it didn't deter him too much.
It's following right quite closely now at the back of Footner.
It's going to be good to watch these two go at it. driver skill, machinery, obviously identical. Setups obviously changed a little bit as well, but this is coming down to mono y mono, and that's kind of the whole idea of GT4 racing. You sort of, run what you brung, as we see JJ running a little bit wide again. It's just out of clubhouse.
He's definitely wanting to put the pressure on Footner early. This is Footner's skill, is that if you can skip away by a second or so, or a couple of seconds in the opening laps, then he tends to leave the bickering and the snapping behind him with the other places and just cruises away from everyone. So JJ knows that he needs to keep Footner in his sights, keep the pressure on, and look for a mistake, look for an opportunity where he can take advantage of. As you can see, he's looking at the inside there.
It's just looking back a little bit further in the pack. Riggsy, an angry old fella, make contact. That was at the Crocodiles. Angry old fella's going around. He's going to be swamped by the rest of the field as well. So unfortunate for him. Just got tangled up a little bit there with Riggsy. Made contact, and he's right back in the pack now. Down there towards sort of 13th and 14th spot for him, unfortunately.
Mr. Wilson, sorry.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Mr. Wilson got caught up in that as well. He was actually trying to dive to the inside of the corner off the track to avoid the error that was unfurling. Oh, there's a dive there. Rain of fire, I think. Apologies, yeah, I was just following Wilson there after him trying to avoid the incident that was happening there with Angry Old Fella, and it's kind of all happening in this little gaggle of cars.
Side by side. This is some great racing. 4.5 minutes into it, 15-minute race. Angry old fella will be one trying to rectify his positions a little bit after making some contact earlier with Riggsy. But out in front, it's Footner. He's got a second lead now, so he's doing exactly what you said he was going to do. Jamie, well, what we try not to let him do, if you like. So he's just starting to slowly creep away from JJ. Stu, P3, he's being hustled all the way though by Gaz. Riggsy, he's just a couple of seconds back from those guys. Then Mr. N. Wilson, Azura, Rain of Fire, and then Stozza. This is where the action is. Have a look at this group of cars here from about 7th through to 11th. Even 12th. Bounty's involved in there as well. Here's Angry Old Fella. The very audacious look up the inside into the Crocodiles.
You can see quite a lot of drivers looking to come from quite far back, take advantage of that longer braking distance that we have in the GT4s, and there's a touch there.
No, that was Rain of Fire turned around. So that was just through the final turn. Oh, who was that? That was Osh Wizard, I reckon. Just caught the rear end of him. So unfortunate for him. Looks like he's still able to keep going though. Oh, his Bounty, he's sending it down the inside of turn 2. He's putting that on Natman's scoop. He's got his website colours, if you like, the orange and the blue. A bit of four-wheel drifting out of barbecue, so that was a big send from him. The gap out in front in P1. It's Cameron Footner leading by 1.8 seconds now. So a very, very healthy gap between him and JJ. I saw Angry Old Fella, and I think that's Natman's scoot with him there as well. He's battling it out with Bounty. Oh no, there's what's happening back there. I think there was a few cars that have off the track. We're looking at Azuro though. He's all over the back of Mr. N. Wilson. Like a nice little scrap, and Natman Scoot just behind these two with Angry Old Fella as well. So some nice battles really starting to form. Almost at the halfway mark. It's a 2-second lead now between Footner and JJ Penguin. So we've seen that many times. Cameron Footner, once he gets in the lead, it's very hard to get him out of it. Azuro doing his best to best stuntman impersonation there through Cheetah, getting on two wheels, giving us a bit of entertainment. Not the fastest line though, but doing his best to chase down Mr. N. Wilson in front of him. He's sitting nicely in sixth position.
Sporting a little bit of a paint job, chipping and scratches at the front there. Is a 0, but it seems to be not affecting him too much, even following Wilson quite closely. But again, the aero is not as big of a issue here with the GT4s and the aero wash. Can follow a bit closer and not lose as much balance.
Well, yeah, definitely doesn't seem to be affecting the 0. He's sort of sliding around a little bit, but not losing big chunks of time because of it. We see another big slide through there. That was out of Clubhouse.
The Camaros run quite high off the ground as well, so you get some of that interesting behaviour when you hit the curves, and then the car, as it bounces back down off the curves, has a lot of travel. And with a lack of tuning options for, so to speak, for suspension and things like that, you do get a bit of that bouncing and rubber banding, I guess, is the feeling as a driver throughout the circuit.
Yep. So I'd imagine that wouldn't be the most comfortable of feelings either.
No, but you once you become accustomed to it, you then start to learn how you manipulate your driving style to take advantage of it. So how you get the car as straightened up as possible. So once you come off a curb on the exit, you're nice and straight. You get on the power really early and avoid kind of skipping out a little bit, the sliding as some of these drivers are to the exits.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like Stu is having any rubber banding issues at the moment. He's chasing down. Stu's being chased by Gaz. Sorry, and then you got Rizzy in there as well.
Gaz is doing really well. He's hanging on very closely to Stu and JJ.
This is a really nice little scrap here. So Stu's in P3. He's chasing down JJ. Gaz are right behind him, and Riggsy a little bit further back off this pack. Sorry, that was my mistake. But yeah, Gaz and Stu, they would have done a lot of racing together, as well as JJ. All Rouge stalwarts. Cameron Footner. There's the three other cars chasing him down right now. JJ, Stewart, and Gaz. Riggsy in P5. We're in the final 5 minutes of this one.
JJ's gone wide, coming into Luke up there. It's going to give Stu an opportunity down the hill. Potentially a opportunity into Crocodiles. How closely can he follow him through here? The bumps, the car's just bouncing up and down.
Here we go. I reckon Stu's got a pretty big smile on his face right now. He would be absolutely loving this. This is some great stuff from these two guys. Gazza, he's in there as well. He might have a little sneaky dive up the inside. Pulls out of it. And then Stu just gets a bit tail happy coming out of the final turn. So that might just open up an opportunity for Gaz. They're going to drag race down the front straight. They're going to go through the kink of turn 1 side by side. Gaz is going to have the inside run though for turn 2. It's going to be who can pull it up the best. Looks like Gaz is going to do it. He'll be able to run Stu out a little bit wide there. Stu has the inside line for the next turn, but Gaz might be able to make this move stick. He does. That was
great
a nice
racing.
Yeah, that was great stuff from both of those. Good, hard, fair, clean racing between
Stu
two veterans.
Still on the outside there into Sunset, but Gaz has held the line. Stu's going to go quite wide there, and Gaz will take the victory in that little battle for now, but you can see how quickly it could change.
Yeah.
Stu was right on the back of JJ. JJ was making a mistake, and then Stu just had a bit of an issue into Cheetah. It looked like he perhaps missed his brake marker and had to come off the accelerator or brake a bit too much because he lost a lot of speed on the exit. Allowed Gaz to into the final corner. Ingwe really put a lot of pressure on him, and it's great that first sector of the track where you have the opportunity, you're on the inside into turn 2, but then you're on the outside into turn 3 into the sweep, and then barbecue, the situation changes again, and it's just great in any car to watch racing through there.
Well, the racing has been fantastic to watch. We've got just over 2 minutes left, but we're going to do it all over again. We're going to do a 30-minute race after this one. We'll have a 5-minute practice and a 10-minute qualifying. Ooh, is that a puff of dust too? Is it from JJ? I don't think so. Probably only
Gaz just getting a little bit left rear out on the grass there.
So there's probably only a couple more laps left in this one, judging by the lap times. We haven't had the signal as of yet. We'll have to keep an eye out for it. But we're probably 2 laps away from getting this one completed. And Stu having a look at Gaz, but certainly not close enough. Riggsy though, he's closed up the gap a little bit between him and Stu.
So Footner's had a bit of an issue.
Sorry. Stu just got on the grass there. And that was coming out of barbecues, and that's opened up the door for Riggsy. He's going to go up the inside. And he gets that job done. So Stu, just with a little mistake there, has cost him a position, moved Riggsy up into P4. He's got Gaz ahead of him, JJ, and then Footner. It is 1 second the gap, so you're pointing that out, Jamie.
So, and it's come down even more. Footner had quite a bad lap just before, and now JJ's right on the back of him, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm just going to go on board with him quickly.
I'm just having a look on the broadcast camera. Can't see anything particularly wrong with Cameron Footner's car. It's going to be pretty tight here, whether this is the last lap or not. I think we're going to do one, possibly might do one more after this. It is quite a long run to the line though. I'd say this is probably it right here.
I think so.
Yeah. So this is the final lap. There's the checkered flag. Cameron Footner, P1. Congrats to JJ. He takes P2. Gaz holds off Riggsy for P3. Stu comes there home in 5th. Mr. Ed Wilson, nice race from him in 6th. Azuro 7th. Angry old fella crosses the line in 8th. Bounty in 9th. And then Natman Scoot, he started at the rear of the field. He's 10th. Osh Wizard 11th. Rain of Fire in 12th position. Team Little Bear 13th. And Stozza 14th. And then we've got Ant Lloyd. And Burrow Dog jumped in there. We didn't see him in qualifying. He's jumped into the lobby to make it a lobby of 16 as we watch Ant Lloyd make his way through there. So there he is. And here's Burrow Dog. So I didn't even know he was actually in the race. But congratulations to Cameron Footner. There's another pole to lights to flag victory for him. Something that's become quite a common occurrence for Cameron Footner since he's arrived at Bruce.
We're very accustomed to that, but he did have to hold on at the end there, and JJ has managed to hold second place. He was under pressure from Stu for most of the race until Stu made a couple of errors in consecutive laps, and he's just tumbled down the order out of the podium spot. So unlucky for him, but Gaz, super drive.
Yeah.
Loves driving the GT4 cars and has done really well there, and Riggsy as well taking opportunity of a few errors in front of him and finishing in 4th.
Yeah, and yes, Stu had a couple of little mistakes there that did cost him some positions too, but all in all I think that was some absolutely cracking racing there in race 1. So we are going to do it all over again. So how we're going to proceed from here is we will actually do a 5-minute practice just to get ourselves reacquainted. We'll do a 10-minute quali, and then it's going to be a 30-minute race to finish the proceedings for the evening, and we'll wrap it up after that. So not too far away. We'll take a little break, and we'll come back as soon as the action is ready to get back underway. All right, we are back, everyone. So we're here for 5-minute quali. 5-minute practice. Sorry, Stu making his way out there. So 5-minute practice, and then we'll do a 10-minute qualification and a 30-minute race. Track temperature there, 33 degrees, so quite warm. Air temperature 26. Says the track's still at optimum, but yeah, not too sure if the hot weather. So what was it? What was his time? Was it like a 151 or something? Yeah, 151.3 for quali in the first qualifying session from Cameron Footner. So that's the benchmark. We'll see if he comes close to that or anyone else comes close to that. But just a couple of cars out on track now. This is Stu. Had a good first race. Burradog, yeah, didn't. Yeah, oh sorry.
Yeah, Stu might be looking to get a bit of the heebie-jeebies out after the end of the last race and just get a couple of clean laps in to get his brain back into consistent race mode. But yeah, Burradog, I think he joined at the very end of that race, so he must be just a late starter in for race 2.
Well, good to have him on board nonetheless. So he's getting in his practice. It's only a short 5-minute practice session, so not a lot of time to bring himself up to speed, but you'd think an experienced campaigner like himself, he won't take too long or need too much time to get into the swing of it. Another driver out there, Team Little Bear. So Jamie, you're racing in the obviously in the PS5 tier this season. You're in the Honda, so you were telling me a little funny story about Team Little Bear and yourself. You're racing a Honda this season. What do you care to share? What you guys are having a little chat about?
Team Little Bear and myself are sharing a Honda this season. The only Hondas, as far as I'm aware, anyway, in season 7 across all of the servers. And yes, my pretty poor opening round at Zandvoort, where I think I almost fell out of the top 10. That was a worse finishing position than Bear managed to get in his tier, so he definitely made that quite well known in the Discord to everyone's satisfaction. But you know, well earned and well deserved. That's what I can say.
Well, you got to take your wins where you can, no matter how big or how small. You just got to take them, and yeah, I think Team Little Bear certainly did that. So good on him. Always an active participant in a lot of the Roo stuff. So we'll see how he goes in race 2. Who else is out there? Ant Lloyd. Didn't really see too much of him in the first race, but he'll be looking to have himself more of a stronger result in race 2. Angry old fella. He had a little bit of contact there with Riggsy, so he lost a handful of positions, and yeah, in a 15-minute race, when you're having to give way to the rest of the pack come through, he's just letting it all hang out there through Clubhouse. But yeah, when you give way to the rest of the pack, it's a long way back from there, but not a lot of time.
Footner's just doing donuts out at turn 2 there. Having a bit of fun.
Yep. I'm not too sure if the marshals, if you can get a flag for that, if you end up going around the wrong way for too long. I'm not sure, but we'll leave him be for now. Natman Scoop, he had a strong result. He did finish, I think, the top 10. Yeah, he finished 10th.
One of the Project Cars 2 converts coming over for his first Ruse races in ACC, and I had a few really good battles with him in my Project Cars 2 days, which feels like years ago, but it was really only about 18 months, 2 years ago since I was in the Project Cars 2 league, and he's a quick customer, so I'm sure once he starts to get his head around it, we'll see him a bit further up the field.
Well, to be fair, Jamie, the last 2 years have felt like a lot longer than 2 years. So I think for most of us, so, yeah, no issues.
Indeed.
No issues with that. 52.2 from Stu. 51.3 was the fastest time from Cameron Foot there in the last qualifying session. So only a handful of drivers participating in that 5-minute practice session. Once that countdown clock gets to 000 though, we will be doing a 10-minute qualifying session, and then we're going to do a 30-minute race. And if it's anything like the first one, I think we're in for another cracker, because there's a ton of action packed into just 15 minutes. The sprint format always conducive to good, fun, hard racing. We saw some really high caliber stuff, especially from Gaz and Stu, as everyone now heads out onto the track.
It's an opportunity now for some of the guys who couldn't pull it together in the initial qualifying session and even the race. They have a second bite of this.
And I think sometimes that's, it does take it, sometimes it takes a little while to kind of work into that rhythm. So it is good to sort of get one under the belt, and then, you're in good stead, you're already warmed up for the second one. 30 minutes, it's a little bit different mental approach, if you like, in terms of, you got a little bit more time. It's still, 30 minutes is not a lot in terms of sprint races, but it's, a little bit, you can sort of take your time a little bit more, not too much, but you have a little bit more time.
Yeah, tyre management will become a factor now, not so much in a 20-minute race, but in a 30-minute race you have some opportunities. If you're looking after the tyres in those early laps, you can really extend it out a little bit and buy back a bit more pace towards the end of the stint. So let's see if some of the drivers might choose to do that in the race, but they obviously don't have to worry about that right now in qualifying, where they'll be laying down their very best laps. They're just finishing their out laps at the moment, and we'll start kicking off again in a minute.
Yep, I think Cameron Footner, number 37. It is Cameron Footner. He's at the head of the pack. I think that's his preferred spot, up the front. That's where he likes to operate from. This man here, Burrow Dog.
The cars go flying when they hit that inside curb at Cheetah there. It looks great.
Alright, here we go. So 10-minute quali. These will be the first of the time laps. 151.3 was the previous best that this man on screen set. Cameron Footner, as he comes into turn 2. Turn 1's actually, just that little kink. Barely a turn.
It's looking good so far. Coming up and completing the opening sector. One thing we know about him is he's an all-action footner when you go on board with him. There's a lot of movement with the arms of the wheel, and he's constantly battling. He likes an oversteering car, and then just likes to wrestle it around and throw it into corners, and uses raw talent to rein it in, shoot it out at the exit, and carry them speed down the straight. And this is why he's so effective, because he can put it all together through all parts of the corner, entry, middle and exit. Very difficult driver to beat.
Certainly has strong pedigree. He does a lot of go-karting as well. Oh, he runs a little bit wide there. That is not what he would have liked. But yeah, I think he does a lot of go-karting as well. So I'd say that would be a pretty strong contributor to his good form here in the sim world. Usually that's the other way around, isn't it? Going from sim to real, but as he's run too deep there. So JJ Penguin goes a 152.2. A bunch of cars coming through now. One of them is is Riggsy as the times all start to filter through thick and fast. Riggsy will set his time. He goes up there into P2, so a quick one from him to get things started. No, it was 287. Here you go, Rain of Fire. About to cross the line. And he goes into P8. So right now it is Angry Old Fella with a 152 flat. So pretty quick time from him. Stu in P2, Riggsy, Bounty, JJ Penguin. Then you got Gaza, Azuro, Rain of Fire, Osh Wizard, and then Stozza. That's your top 10 right now. We're having a look at this man here because he was the Race 1 pole sitter and the Race 1 winner, but wasn't able to set a time on his first time run around. So he's having a second bite of the cherry as JJ decides to come into the pits. Less than 5 minutes left in this session, and we are going to do a 30-minute race, no pit stops, sprint format. And yeah, let's hope the racing is just as good as what, if not better than what we saw earlier on in race 1, as Footnow looking a lot cleaner on this lap now.
He needs to get this one down as a bank car, and then he'll have maybe 3 laps after this. So still quite a bit of time to continually improve and build upon each lap. Just needs to lay this one down as a Val's lap, which I think he will when it's a 51.3.
Wow, there you go. So that is 9 1,000ths of his best time from the first race. So he's back right where he was. Here's this man Burradog. Might be a bit of a wild card in the pack. Obviously joined very late for race 1. Good enough for P15th. What about Stu? Currently sitting in P4. That's where he remains for now. And Stozza up there in 11th. So right now Footnow on top with a 151.3. 3.5 minutes remaining in this one. Just trying to see number 92, Team Littlebert. He's back in the pits. Might be his session possibly done. Mr. N. Wilson, he is currently sitting in P12. He started a lot higher than that and finished higher than that in race 1. 1.5 seconds off Cameron Footner's time as he comes through Cheetah. Jamie, you were going to say something?
As he looks like he's really on the limit. I wonder if he's still on a valid lap. He isn't, so he must be on an out lap.
Alright, well, we'll get off him then. And the next car on track to come through is JJ Penguin. He started in P2 for race 1, currently in 8th, 9/10 off the pace. Looks like he'll be setting off for a time lap. 2.5 minutes remaining in this 10-minute qualifying session. We are about to do a 30-minute race afterwards. Here's Cameron Footner coming through the final turn. Track temperatures dropped significantly down to 30 degrees. Still optimum though, air temperature 24. Footner doesn't beat his personal best time. Here's Angry Old Fella. Looks like he's going for it for a short run to the line. Doesn't improve. Remains P3 for now, so not too bad of a result for him. Here's Osh Wizard from P6. He doesn't move from there. What about Natman Scoop? He started at the rear of the pack last race. Looking like that might be a repeat. Did work his way up into the top 10 though, so might be more of a Sergio Perez type, where qualifying not the strong suit, but more the racing is where it's at for him. Team Little Bear, he's sitting in 14th right now. 90 seconds left in qualifying. Stu won't be participating any further. He's in the pits. All the other cars are out on the circuit, including this man. He's in 14th right now as he comes through Cheetah. That's Team Little Bear running very wide. Not too sure if that's going to help him improve. Cameron Footner, he thinks that's enough for him. He's gone into the pits with just under a minute remaining now. Team Little Bear, he doesn't improve. What about this man here, Gaz? He can challenge for pole position. He's just less than half a second behind Cameron Footner, who's in the pits, as is Stu. So the contenders for the front row of the grid will be Gaz and Angry Oldfellow, and they're in sequence with one another. So as soon as Gaz finishes, we'll jump over to Angry.
So I think Gaz is on an invalid lap here. I think he made a mistake not too long before you picked him up, so he'll need to go on one more. Looks like he'll make it over the line.
What about Angry? We did see him charge him to the line. Nah, he's done. He's going to call it quits as well. All right. What about Borodog? He's worked his way up into P11. He'll have enough time for at least one more. After here, does he improve on his time through there? No, not at the moment. So he remains in P11 for now. We've gone 000, so all the cars that will be crossing the line now. That'll be their qualifying session done. That includes Enstoza. He's all done. What about Team Little Bear? He's still out on the circuit. Might get back to him shortly. What about Gaz? How's he going? So he's the only driver out there right now who can contend with Cameron Footner's 151.3.
JJ was on a flyer though, but I can't go back and see his delta because the driver's disappeared, so let's keep an eye on him as well after Gaz comes around.
JJ will be ahead of him on the track. We might just pick him up. Here he is. Currently in P9, started on the front row of the grid. So this is a bit further down than what I think he would be expecting.
Pulled it up nicely coming into the last corner there. Straight run to the line.
Hey, P2, there we go. What about Gaz? What's he got? He's just coming through Crocodiles now.
Up at how much Kirby takes.
Oh,
Quite a lot,
look at
you
that.
can see.
Loving it. Great stuff. All 1,400 kilos of the car getting up on two wheels. Presses the throttle now on that 6.2 litre V8 engine. And finishes in P3. So there's our grid, everyone, for race number 2. It's Cam Footner once again, a 151.339, 9/1000th of his time from race number 1. Then we have JJ Penguin, who just clinched P2 there at the death. Gaz in P3. Then we've got Stu and Riggsy rounding out your top 5. Then it's Angry Oldfella in 6th. Rain of Fire 7th. Osh Wizard 8th. Bounty 9th and Azuro. He rounds out the top 10. Mr. N. Wilson might be a little bit unhappy with that, where he started, considering he's qualifying from the last race. Borodog ended up P12. And Stozza, Team Little Bear, Ant Lloyd and Natman Scoot at 16 on the grid. One more than last race. We are now moments away from getting race number 2 done. That will be a 30-minute sprint. No pit stops required. A little bit of time management, though, will be required. Maybe a little bit more patience than the first one. But we will be back very, very shortly to bring all of that to you.
30 seconds.
All right, we are back, everyone. So 30 seconds before we kick this one off.
20 seconds.
Cameron Footner in the chat just trying to work out his literage. How many liters are required for this 30-minute race?
10 seconds.
Can't really give him too much insight into that. But, yeah, we're going to kick this one off very, very shortly. So it's an interesting grid, JJ, I'd say. Probably try and have in mind not giving Footner that, not letting him get that jump. Not that he did let him get that jump, but he'll be concentrating on that, I think, on this one. Gaza and Stu, the two old heads. They'll just be enjoying the ride for now. Riggsy and Angry Old Fella, they had a little bit of contact in the first race, so those two go at it again. Maybe a Discord message or two shared between them, perhaps, maybe. Just some explanations. Who else up there? Osh Wizard. Mr. Ed Wilson. Might have a bit of a chip on his shoulder. I think he's qualifying in the first race. He qualified 6th. So maybe he's changing something in the team a little bit, holding it down as well, down there in 14th. So I'm looking forward to this one. Race number 2, 30 minutes. No pit stops. And JJ saying, worst thing to hear on the grid is recharge headset. Yeah.
So positions 1 and 2 in a bit of strife here before the race has even started.
Gaz and Stu, that'll be music to their ears. Might just have to just do the odd disconnect. Do it through the TV.
I had in round 1, and maybe I can put my poor performance down to this, or probably not, it's probably a weak excuse, but midway through the race my headphones started to slide off the back of my head, and I tried to catch them and it just kept falling down, and at one point I hit my turn microphone button on, which everyone probably got a good wall of sound of me trying to put my headphones back on. Which is hard to do.
That's a valid excuse. That's a valid excuse.
On a tight, twisty circuit like Zandvoort, trying to take your hands off the wheel, shifting up and down, turning left and right to put your headphones on. But
there's no straights on that track pretty much. That's relentless, corner after corner. So it's a tough one.
Bit easier for the guys today though on this faster flowing circuit. I've seen some great racing already. As you say, 30 minutes more. We'll have plenty more of that.
Yeah, I think so. This is going to be a lot of fun. I've enjoyed the first race. Let's see what these boys have got in store for us in the second. As they make their way through Cheetah, they'll all grid up. We'll hit that line. We're going to get race 2 underway. 30 minutes. Camaro GT4 Sunday Night League. This is RaceOnOz. I'm Nick. I'm joined by Jamie. We are about to get this one underway. Our final race of the evening, of the week, in fact.
Green light.
There it is. Let's go racing. 30 minutes. Get started right now. Cameron Footner gets a nice start. JJ going right with him. Up the inside. He'll try to not let him get away this time. Oh, a bit of contact there in the back from the 555. That was Gaz as they all filter into turn 1. Angry Old Fella's done a good job there. There goes around Bounty in the 05. So terrible start for him. JJ Penguin still in P2. Angry Old Fella's had a cracking start. Stewart's right behind him. Oh no! He almost turns it around. Keeps it facing the right way, but loses a heap of positions there. But once again, a great start from Cameron Footner. He's leading the way as the timing screen just works its way forward there. Nice, it's all done now. Cameron Footner leading from JJ, from Angry Old Fella. Gaz, Riggsy's moved himself into P5. Rain of Fire of 0. Stewart, Team Little Bear is in P9. And Stozza, what a great start to this one.
Certainly was. Angry Oldfellas gained a bit there. He's in the podium positions at the moment. But a big lose out for Wilson, I think. I saw him have a bit of a dive up into turn 2, looking to make a few positions, but I think got caught out when Bounty and Zuro went around there. So a few guys will need to make a bit of a fight back here now.
And these guys are fighting amongst themselves right now. This is Rain of Fire and Stu. After that little mistake earlier on, he's hit the Zuro. Rain of Fire's been caught up in that as well. So Stu perhaps just trying to regain some of those positions he lost on that last lap. That was Netman's scoop as well. He ran quite deep there too, maybe just some evasive action from him. But that's Stu's race in a world of trouble. As we kick off this one, 30 minutes, it's Footner leading the way from JJ Penguin. Angry Old Fella in P3, Gaza giving pursuit to him. So he's following close behind. Then Reezy and Team Little Bears moving himself up into P6 now. So your Honda brethren is just absolutely on fire, Jamie.
Incredible, and it's a good opportunity to get that amazing livery. Bit of coverage here in the top places, because he always puts on a great livery.
And here's Angry Old Fella. He's putting on a great show right now. He's going side by side with Gaz. This is for P3 and 4. That's Riggsy just looming large on the back of these two. There's JJ. He's not letting Cameron Footner get away with this one again. He'll have the bit between his teeth. Hopefully his headset's still working.
So Gaz has managed to make that pass on Angry Old Fella, which is good. Now he'll want to set out for JJ. He was definitely matching him for pace for a lot of that last race.
Yeah, JJ will, I think that'll probably be front of mind. Just don't let Cameron walk away with it again. But that's one thing to say that. It's another thing to do it. We've seen how quick Footner is. And this is Rain of Fire. Yeah, he's giving chase to Osh Wizard. He's got Stozza behind him. Settled into a nice rhythm pretty quickly on 2 wheels coming through Cheetah. Spectacular scenes. Seen that a lot tonight. Here's Bounty. Had a good qualifying. Got turned around earlier on. Oh, he's got Burrow right behind him now. So you get a nice run on him up the front straight. And he's going to go up the inside through turn 1 through the kink. To Crawthorne. He's going to have to go around the outside though. That's the long way around. But the benefit is he gets the inside line on the next corner, and there he goes. Oh. Bounty fighting back. That's oh no! Bounty's turned around again. So he's been facing around more than he's done laps tonight, unfortunately for him. And he's going to fall all the way to the back of the field.
Didn't quite see if there was contact there, or whether he just got out a little bit too wide and put the power down a bit early, when perhaps the right rear on the grass and the dirt there has just spun it up and gone around. But either way, Zuro took a bit of an opportunity, and he was in the thick of it there, and Burrow Dogs obviously won out. A bit of pressure off him there.
So Rain of Fire looking to get his way past Team Little Bear. To run on the grass. Team Little Bear is not going to give this up without a fight. Here's Stozza in there as well. So he's going to try and work his way through. They're going to go door to door. Rain of Fire able to hold him off for now. They're going to go through Cheetah. And now he's got, that's Mr. Ren Wilson looming large in the background. So he's managed to work his way up into P10 for now. This is a great old scrap down here in 8th, 9th and 10th.
You can see how quickly he can go from attacking the driver in front to defending or falling back down the order.
Yeah. I think we saw that with Stu earlier on, didn't we? Towards the end of the first race. So your fortunes can change rapidly. You can go from chocolates to boiled lollies very, very quickly around here. Angry old fella. He'll be looking to improve his fortunes. Car number 4 in P4. We prefer the number 3 though. The number 3 is what the difference is approaching in seconds between Cameron Footner and JJ Penguin. Currently 2.6 is the gap. 1.1 is Gaza to JJ. And then we're having a look at this angry old fella, Riggsy, behind him, closing up under brakes. So 7 minutes are already gone in this 30-minute race. We've still got all 16 running, which is fantastic. And we've got a good old scrap at the front. It's
Rain of Fire just came up the inside of Bear and turned him around at Lukop. Oh, that's such a shame. Bear was doing really well. They both were doing really well.
just the tail end of that.
Okay, so JJ's right at the back of Footner here.
Yeah, I saw that. He's closed the gap up to just over half a second right now. So perhaps Footner might have put a foot wrong, perhaps, or JJ's just found a little bit of extra speed. As we see angry old fella in the background as well. He's trying to get a nice little toe into turn 2. He's got to send it up the inside. Oh no!
Going around.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Managed to hold position, but in the meantime, Riggsy just sneaks his way through. Says, thank you very much, fellas. You can scrap it out between you. I'll just take 2 of your spots. And he moves himself up into a podium. So, angry old fella. Contact in race 1. Contact in race 2. Stu. I think he's just managed to get past. I know he's racing Azuro. He's got plenty of scrapes down the side of that Camaro there. So this is for position. Had a great race 1. Race 2 hasn't quite started the way that he would have liked. Oh, I was half expecting to see that car 143 potentially coming around that corner sideways. Wasn't to be, thankfully. Not that there would have been any cruel intentions behind that. Just, you know, that is sometimes the way that it goes. But not this evening, which is good. Gap out in front, back to 1.1 seconds between JJ and Footner, so perhaps Footner has rectified whatever may have been ailing him, and he's back to that 1 second gap. Riggsy, Gaza and Angry Old Fella, that's your top 5. Then Osh Wizard and Styles and Mr. N. Wilson, Ant Lloyd and Burrow Dog. That rounds out your top 10. So nice start there from Burrow. As we're having a look at Azura and Stu. They're scrapping it out. We might head over to Angry Old Fella though, because he's still giving chase to Gaz, the veteran. They're down in 4th and 5th.
So a little coming together a couple of laps ago has allowed Riggsy through into the podium places, but Gaz and Angry had good pace there. They weren't really dropping off too much behind JJ. Angry's just been very wide there into I can't see the thing that was barbecue, and now they're coming up to Sunset.
I've just flicked across to Mr. Ed Wilson because he was closing out behind and Stosner. He's had a great start to this one. He's worked himself up into 8th spot. I think he started 12th. So his fortunes perhaps beginning to change a little bit with this one.
The front of Wilson's car is looks like it's been in a few scraps there. Looks like it's seen the back of someone else's car.
Yeah, definitely is potentially a little bit of Morse code to a couple of the drivers out there. All right, we're a 3rd race distance. So that 10 minutes has absolutely flown by. Almost 11 minutes, in fact, now. We're riding on board here with Mr. N. Wilson and Ed Stozza. The gap out in front, 1.5 seconds between Footner and JJ. Riggsy, 2.6 seconds behind JJ. Then Gaz and Angry Oddfella. So those two had a little incident already together. As Mr. Ren Wilson looking to go around the outsides there. That's at Crocodiles. Seen plenty of action there already tonight. Go through Cheetah. Neither of them care to give that little sausage curb a bit of a bump. As they come through the final turn, they will shortly begin another lap. And yeah, halfway mark is creeping up on us extremely rapidly right now.
Certainly is. Wilson in the slipstream here of Stozza. He might have a bit of a go here. But we've seen a few drivers just leave it a bit too late and understeer wide into the other driver. Difficult to keep the car nice and tidy through that little sequence there, but Wilson's done really well and made the pass, so nice job.
Good job, Mr. Ren Wilson. That was a very nice pass from him. Air temperature 23 degrees, 24 track temperature. Doesn't look like there's any weather on the way, although those clouds do look a little bit ominous. But
Yeah, it seems to have dropped. Maybe it's late evening or late afternoon, rather, because the temperature's dropping, the light's dropping, but the sun seems to be beaming. At least in terms of the weather guide on the heads-up display. So yeah.
well, definitely Burrow Dog would have a sunny disposition right now because he's just taken P9 away from Ant Lloyd. So he's having a nice race number 2 after joining us extremely late in race 1. He moves himself up to a comfortable P9. And Stozza, he's going to try and scrap back that position that Mr. Ren Wilson took away from him. So they're in 7th and 8th right now. And the gap between JJ and Footner is at almost 2 seconds. So this is a little bit of a repeat from race 1. Cameron Footner was able to open up that 2-second gap and pretty much maintain it for the majority of the race. Although it only was a 15-minute race, but nonetheless, it was still a gap he was able to maintain. As Stozza just trying to get a nice little tone here from Mr. Ren Wilson up the front straight into turn 2 Crawthorne. So close enough to make a move, but the 2 closest cars on the circuit though right now, which is why we're with them.
Wilson did really well there into turn 2. He just held the line at the apex. Stoz didn't take the opportunity to go down the inside, so all Wilson needed to do was just hang there, and Stoz was never going to go around the outside. So you can see Stoz coming into sunset there, the back end just wanting to kick out, and he's obviously throwing the car in to the entry and just hoping it sticks.
So you talked about tyre management. As we'll step away from them, we'll have a look at Gazza and Riggsy, but you talked about tyre management being a bit more of a factor in this race. What did you mean exactly by that?
So just with the longer race, you'll take more out of the tyres, and if you, depending on how aggressively you drive, you're going to feel it more than another driver who perhaps is a little less aggressive. But it's just all a matter of degrees, and it's a spectrum, and the lighter you are on your tyres, the more you get from them in a longer stint. So compared to a 15-20 minute race, 30-minute race is, as you say, not an endurance race by any stretch of the imagination, but 30 minutes on a set of tyre, you'll start to feel it. So some of the drivers hopefully have left a little bit in them to attack in the final laps.
Come on, Jamie. It's a 30-minute sprint race. No one's leaving anything in their tyres. These guys are going flat stick the whole way. I don't think they really know any other way of doing it. This is Gaz just trying to chase down Riggsy. Looks like they've dropped Angry Oddfellow though for the time being. He's 4 seconds behind these two. JJ, he's 2.3 behind Footner. So the race where it sits right now, over the halfway mark, you would have had the little notification there, but it's Cam Footner out in front, JJ Penguin in P2, Riggsy third, Gaza fourth, Angry Oldfella, that's the top 5. Then Oshwizard, Mister and Wilson, and Stozza 8th, Burradog 9th, and Ant Boyd up to P10, doing a great job. Team Little Bear, unfortunately, he was as high as P6, now running down in P15 at the moment. He had a couple of little incidents there as well that contributed to him being down there, but short-lived, but nonetheless, it's better to burn bright and burn out rather than fade away, and he's certainly done that tonight. Might have a look at Oshwizard, who's tucked in behind Angry Old Fella here as they go through the crocodiles. Having a nice little scrap here between 5th and 6th. I saw the meatball flag there in the background being waved. Not too sure if I've seen that flag waved before, or if my eyes could be playing tricks on me.
It does come out from time to time. I think when track limits start to come in, so maybe one or two of the drivers just overextending themselves. Probably coming down the hill, I would imagine, into the crocodiles, just hanging out a bit wide on exit.
Gaz right on the back now of Riggsy. He'll definitely be feeling that pressure. Perhaps made a little mistake there coming out of barbecue. Not too sure, but Gaz has got a pretty good run on him here.
Side by side, all the way through, both drivers in track limits. It's great defensive driving.
You always hold your breath when you see that camera angle, don't you? Just pop out. Where are they going to be? These are 2 veterans as well, so you expect some pretty high caliber stuff from these 2. We've seen that so far. So Gaz will be liking his chances. You just be sizing him up, working out where he's going to make the move, and then wait for the right time. Time though is of the essence. There's not much of it left. There's less than what we started with. It's 11 and a half minutes, in fact. Just hoping to get Oshwizard there. No, nothing happening. Mr. Cameraman couldn't keep up, whereas he is tucked in now behind Angry Old Fella. It's a little bit squirrely coming out of crocodiles as they head up into Cheetah here. Both of them giving that sausage curve a little bit of a whack come through. But Oshwizard, if he can get a nice run out of the final turn, that back end wanting to step out from Angry Old Fella. Not great for his traction. Oshwizard tucking right into the slipstream now. Probably one of the fastest parts of the circuit. Sends a big dive up the inside. And he's able to make that stick. That's some really nice driving there from Oshwizard. And he's able to get past that gold Camaro of Angry Old Fella, who drops down into P6. And Oshwizard will move himself into P5. So nice move. Picked him off into turn 2, but some nice driving from those 2 there.
It was a good pass, and interesting that Angry didn't go defensive into turn 2. And in fact, quite a few of the drivers have opted to not go defensive in there, clearly as a tactic, and look to keep around the outside turn 2 and take the inside to turn 3. Gaz is right back on the tail end of Riggsy here.
He's all over him right now. Go on board. Listen to that V8 hum. 6.2 litres of it. Through mine shaft. Just jerking forward under brakes.
See how close they get to the inside curb here. Giving it a fair wide berth.
Yeah, pretty conservative there. Which is completely understandable though. We're in the final 10 minutes of this race. 53 52-4, I think. 52-3 from Riggsy and Gaz last time around. So the battle is on here. It's now just a matter of can Riggsy cover his areas of the track that he's weak at, and then vice versa for Gaz, who can put a complete lap together.
You can see Gaz probably sporting a little bit of damage from earlier on with his contact with Angry, but it's definitely not affecting his pace because he's been flying both races and qualifying. Some superb efforts here. Riggsy's car looks a bit more like it's rolled off the production floor, and he's holding on here. Maybe just doesn't quite have the out-and-out pace of Gaz, but if he puts the car in the right areas, he's every chance of retaining his position here, potentially on the podium.
Yeah, this is for the podium spot. There's 8 minutes remaining right now. Footner though, 3.6 seconds ahead of JJ. He'd be having a bit of a lonely race right now, old JJ. He's got these two, they're about 6 seconds down the road, so not much for him to do other than just keep his concentration, really. That can be a challenge some of the times. Angry old fella in the background there, he's still chasing down Osh Wizard, so although he did let him past, still trying to hang on here. We'll go back to Gaz though. Can he get a run out of the final turn? We've seen quite a few moves completed into turn 2 here. He's just trying to stay in the draft there of Riggsy, get a nice little toe to pull him along. Not enough to get a move even attempted there into turn 2. So he's just going to have to stay on that rear bumper. 7 minutes left in this one. This is race 2. This is the final race of the evening. And so far it's been a cracker. We've still got the final step of the podium yet to be decided between these two, between Riggsy and Gaz.
So quite a few battles going on as well, so racing to the very end here.
I saw and Stozza in there as well with Mr. N. Wilson. Don't want to step away. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You don't want to step away because a lot of these battles, the driver in front has passed the driver that is following them directly. So that's how close in pace they are. That if someone gets ahead, they're not exactly storming down the road. The driver wants revenge and wants to come back at them.
Yeah, and you've got that carrot right there in front of you as well. You know, it's you can see. When you can see that person, you're so close to them, it does start to, you need to be careful if they make a mistake, not to get drawn into the same mistake as them. You can start to mimic their driving as well, but it's all part of the art of it, if you like. So Gaz, time is ticking away, 5.5 minutes remaining, so not many more opportunities he's going to get past the car of Riggsy. Can Riggsy do enough to hold him off? Been a even Stevens battle so far. Nothing between these two at the moment.
Riggsy just gets out of the last corner very nicely, and that's the main danger. He's not getting out of that corner too well and then carrying the penalty right down the straight and being vulnerable into turn 2. You can see he got a little bit wide coming out of barbecue there, but it's not much of a punishment because we're going to be straight into sunset here, and Gaz hasn't been able to get close enough. And then for the rest of the lap, he's just putting the car in all the right places. As I say that.
Yep.
Gaz might have been so close there as Riggsy made that little mistake that might have even spooked him a little bit. He might not have been able to take advantage of it. But Gaz will put that down as a learning. Knows that Riggsy also has been driving very well, still has a few chinks in the armour. Just got to be there to capitalise on it when it happens, be it not too close but not too far away.
well, doesn't he, Ken? Obviously can't wait forever, but don't want to necessarily go for a gap that's actually not there, because then you can take out, you can end up ruining your race as well as someone else's. So it's a fine line you need to tread, and tread carefully. They must, for the next 3 minutes and 40 odd seconds. That's how much time we have left in this one. That half an hour's absolutely flown by. The racing's been fantastic. So high caliber stuff from these guys once again. We've got two really good scraps going on right here. It's Riggsy and Gaz. Can Gaz get a nice little toe down the front straight? Not this time. What about Angry Old Fella? He might be able to do something here. He's going to have to go around the long way at around the outside there at Crawthorne. That is a very long way around for Angry Fella. Can't quite get that done. So nice scrap between him and Stozza as well. Mr. N. Wilson, Burrow Dog now inserting himself into that scrap there as Angry right behind Osh Wizard now. So can he soak up that pressure, or will Angry Old Fella force him into a mistake? As we see Riggsy and Gaz just flick by in the foreground. Gaz probably as close to him as he has been through this part of the circuit for a little while now. I think he'll be liking his chances here. Won't have too many of them left. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this one. Race number 2, season 1, round 2 of the Sunday Night League. GT4 One Make Series. Last week we're in the Hungaro ring. This week we're at Kyalami. Gaz is sending it up the inside at Kyalami, in fact. But he goes a little bit too deep there. Couldn't pull it up quite in time. And Riggsy is being able to maintain his position. Gaz just trying his level best.
Late in the race, Gaz knows you can just why not give it a go there, because there's not really much of a punishment. You can run straight on, and it is runoff, so you can just turn around and come back on the circuit, and he hasn't really lost much. He can have another go, but he's running out of time.
He certainly is. Angry Old Fella, he's in the same scenario right now, and Stozza as well. He's in a battle with Mr. N. Wilson. He's got Burrow Dog that he needs to be defending from behind as well as they make their way through Crawthorne. So some nice little scraps going on here. Unfortunately, it's not for the lead. That's all sewn up right now with Footner 4.3 seconds ahead of JJ Penguin in P2. And Riggsy and Gaz, though, they're still fighting it out for P3, the final step on the podium of this one. Burrow Dog nice and close between him and Stozza, so I'll try and keep abreast of all of them as we're in the final minute of this one. Burrow will be doing his level best, but I think what we want to see, though, is these two cars on the screen, Riggsy and Gaz. They have been duking it out for the majority of this one. And Riggsy has done a fantastic job. He's soaked up all the pressure from Gaz. He's not put a foot wrong. And this will be quite a well-deserved podium, which I think we might be seeing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think that's it. It is Cameron Footner. He takes out race 2. Congratulations to him. JJ Penguin, he takes out P2. Riggsy is going to hold on for P3, a very, very well-deserved P3. Congratulations to him. Gaz in 4th. Osh Wizard in 5th. Just got there. Angry Old Fella almost pipped him on the line, but not quite enough. Mr. N. Wilson hangs on for P7. Nice work from him. Burrow Dog, will he get N. Stozza on the line? He does! So he takes P8. Well done to Burrow Dog. Good race from him. Ant Lloyd in 10th position. Natman Scoop proving once again that the race is more to his liking than qualifying. He finishes in 11th spot. Rain of Fire, he's going to cross the line in 12th position. Azuro, he will be making his way across the line. A little bit of a beat up Camaro there for 13th spot. Just behind him is Team Little Bear. He's going to hold off Stu. Can he do it? Yes, he does. And Stu finishes last. But that was race number 2. Cracking work from Cameron Footner again. He was the class of the field as he was in race 1. JJ Penguin in P2. And Riggsy gets himself on the podium for a very, very well-deserved P3. So, that was good times. I'm out of breath now. That was fun.
That was brilliant. Brilliant race. And yeah, even though Footner had the measure of them, it's only 5 seconds up the field in a half an hour race. You know, JJ, he's very, very quick, but just a shave off Cameron Footner at the moment, unfortunately, in terms of that lead battle. But yeah, it was all going on behind it. That was brilliant stuff.
That was a lot of fun. So I can hear some donuts and whatnot being performed in the background. So that wraps up proceedings for this evening. Just trying to get the schedule up to see where we will be next week. So let me just go into a couple of things here. Just bring it up. Season details. Okay, so next week, the 31st, Paul Ricard, where the F1s are right now that I'm about to go and watch. So that's a fun circuit too in the GT format, that big long Mistral straight. So that'll be great to hear those big V8s roar up there, and then Donington after that as well in the wet. So that'll be a lot of fun watching these guys go around in the wet. But Jamie, that was fun. Thank you very much for that. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Good to be back in the box with you. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, it's good to be back, and I hope everyone has a good evening, and we'll enjoy watching them go around next week.
Fantastic. All right, well, everyone, enjoy what remains of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of the week. We'll see you around on the Ruse Network here or there. So my name is Dick. I've been joined by Jamie.